Hi, everybody. Nice to see you all again. Welcome to the Life in and Outside the Classroom session. During this session, we'll be giving you a glimpse on what life is like inside the classroom and what life is like outside the classroom. So, we will be highlighting some of the key things that you're probably curious about, like what are classes like, or what are some of the things I can do when I'm not in class and stuff like that. So, we are excited to have you. I love to see the emojis are going strong. So, keep going. I love to see the questions are going strong, as well as the interaction in the chat. So please keep asking your questions, keep having conversations in the chat. We'd love to interact with you. Okay, so we'll be talking about life inside the classroom first. So if you are curious about the type of classes you'll be experiencing, if you're curious about some of the opportunities for your classes and like what you can benefit from that, we'll be talking a little bit about that. So at Carleton, we're very big on hands-on learning. We emphasize opportunities for you to actually get your hands dirty and actually put into practice some of the things that you'll be doing in the fields that you're going into. So you'll notice in a lot of your classes, class sizes may vary. Some classes you might be talking to a professor might be talking to you. Some classes might be more lab work. Some classes might be with a teaching assistant. You'll notice a lot of different variety in how you get to experience the class. So I'm going to talk to our journalism students first because I know, as you can see, we have a lot of interaction with hands-on learning in journalism. So Caroline, how about you tell us a little bit about how classes look like for you?
I think first year it's more theory based, so we are all together as a cohort. We learn, the introduction to journalism, and then as we go on second year and then going on to third year, we get really hands on. This year, even up to 2 days ago, I was at City Hall having to cover stories. So it's really about going into our communities and finding something to report on. I think that's what I like about the journalism program. I've gotten to explore Ottawa because of it. But we really get to have to find stories about anything. We really have to learn about Canada as well to understand where to find stories and how to report on them. But I really love the journalism program because we get to be so hands on. We get to go out and we get to talk to people we would have normally never really spoken to. But I think that's what I love. And then next year, going into third year, we're going to get to do newsroom days and go to the explore the audio side and actually get to do the picturesque part of journalism. So I'm looking forward to that part.
That's amazing. So you get to see there's a mix of like a lot of the theory-based side and the hands-on learning side as well. And even for the sciences. So Anna, I know you're in Bachelor of Science. Can you share a little bit about that experience for you and what students can expect?
Yeah, for sure. Well, in sciences, we tend to have a lot of hands-on learning even from first year. It's always like directly into labs, into experiments, even if they're simple and just kind of like building on to what you're going to see further in the future. Um, Obviously, as the classes get a bit harder and you go into your third and fourth year, it gets a lot more like I wouldn't say complicated, but like more focused
Okay.
on like the class that you're learning in and like what you want to do in the future. And I think it's amazing because at least I love being in a lab, so it's always something fun to like be doing a new experiment and working with teammates and with the lab coordinator and like doing something new.
Okay, that's true. So yeah, in the upper years, it becomes a bit more specialized, so students can expect to
Yeah.
focus on like their specific niches. That's amazing. Okay, and Parth, so we have a lot of people who are interested in computer science. I'm sure they're curious, what can they expect from the classes in computer science?
Oh, we usually have lectures and tutorials, and then tutorials, you're given tiny little tasks that you're supposed to code on the spot, with your teaching assistants helping you in case you get stuck. Um, you can also expect group projects and also make use of your office hours. Office hours are a huge, huge help. They're time set aside by your professor and teaching assistants that are not part of your lecture. They're only there for students to go and ask questions. And yeah, they're really helpful to get your grade back up.
Okay, that's true. So one of the great things about some of the Carleton faculty is the open door policy. A lot of your professors or TAs are very accessible via email. They're also very happy to have office hours, as Parth mentioned. And speaking of TA-ships, we actually have someone who has experience being a TA. So Ramina, I'm going to kind of point to you to kind of tell us a little bit about how you found the faculty to be supportive, or how you found the TAs to be supportive, and some of the things that they do that really help students.
Yeah, of course. So I have been a Spanish TA from the last 3 years, and what I do is basically, well, there's different types of TA depending on the program, right? For example, now me that I'm a Spanish TA, so I'm in language, so I kind of give my office hours and I help people, learn grammar, pronunciation. I also go to class. I'm there for the professor, and sometimes I also grade assignments. So it depends, but like for example, I'm always there for the students. Like they can email me anytime. I have my office hours. I'm always there for them.
Okay, that emphasizes there's a lot of hands-on support within the classroom. Um, in addition to that, we also have academic support. So we know as students, you're not just transitioning from one country to another, you're also transitioning from high school to university. That is a drastic change for many of us. And I know that it can feel like an overwhelming transition adding on a whole new country and a whole new high school to university. But one of the great things about Carleton is that you are supported every step of the way. So we have lots of academic support services. These are included in your tuition. You have access to them. You can stop by, you can book an appointment. You'll see this is just a list, and there's so many more student support services, but I'm going to highlight some. So I know in Bachelor of Science, we have Science Student Success Center. Anna, I know you mentioned you've probably used this service before. Could you share a little bit about that and how it was beneficial for you?
Yeah, well, the Science Student Success Center has a lot of different like seminars or kind of like presentations, I guess, that they offer students, as well as just like walk-in support in the case that you need like advising just in everyday setting. What I found really like useful was like a seminar that they did, which was a couple weeks of them like teaching us how to navigate like kind of the time crunch for assignments or how to study for exams, and kind of just like that initial entrance into university, so we could know how to handle our time and like be comfortable and not stressed out with all of the assignments or lab reports. And I think that's really beneficial because it is a big switch from high school to university, and it can sometimes feel overwhelming, but they help you know like the resources that are available, or like little hacks or tips and stuff on how to like feel a little bit more helped out.
Absolutely, yes. And I love that you mentioned the workshops and some of the events that they curate, because that really does show you like it doesn't have to be like you have a problem and then you go to the services. They actually help you prevent such a problem. So they actually have workshops on how to maybe best use your time, workshops on writing essays, maybe citations, maybe things that you may not have been familiar with before. They host a lot of workshops to kind of set you up for success. So that's something to always keep an eye out. And I know a lot of them are online now, so you don't have to worry about going somewhere. I also
I
want to
think
highlight something. It's called the peer. Sorry. Yeah, go
No,
ahead.
I was just gonna say it's also really nice because it's usually from students to students, so you also feel that connection and like understanding of them.
All right, that's amazing, because someone who can actually relate to what you're kind of experiencing, that's amazing. And I love that you mentioned student to student, because we also have peer assisted study sessions. So we have something called PASS, and that's where a student who has probably done the class before, has done really well, is able to assist you with like the classes. Akriti, I'm going to ask you to talk a little bit about the PASS sessions. I know you've mentioned that you felt that you benefited from that in your courses. What was your experience with PASS?
For me personally, when in my first 2 years, when they introduce you to psych, especially in your second year, you get introduced to a lot of research, which is pretty new at first to learn, and a lot of like application method. They would kind of make you do sort of some math. And I feel that's where PASS came into a lot of like benefit, because they make you go through those problems. They make you like solve a lot of practice sheets. They're there to like talk to you if you want to like understand a topic better. And I feel like that really helps you when you're especially learning something that's very new and something that you would like be like, okay, how am I supposed to do? And especially if math is something you're kind of scared about, I feel past really helps because they make you solve like a different set of problems. So when you go give your exam, you're just like, oh, I did something very similar right there.
That's amazing. So it's very much related to the courses. And like this is an upper year student who's done the course before and who's been really successful. So they're really offering a lot of support in addition to your TA and your faculty advisor, your professor. So it's good to know that one class can have so many opportunities for support to set you up for success. So academic support is something that you will benefit from as a student. And in addition to that, it's not just about classroom, being in the classes and like studying 24/7, we want to make sure you have a life outside of the classroom. So we're going to talk about experience outside of classes. So I want to talk about things like clubs and societies. One big difference between clubs is that clubs are related to different interest groups, while societies are connected to the program that you're in. We also have access to mental health support, athletic facilities, and student services for pretty much a lot of everything that you'll need while you're here at our Carleton. And one of my favorite things, the therapy dogs. So, Dua, I'm gonna point at you to talk a little bit about life outside of the classroom. What was that like for you?
Yeah, there are a lot of different like clubs that cater to different aspects of your life. So maybe it's like an ethnicity thing or a religion thing or even just like your hobbies. So I know that when I first joined, I was really uh, I really worked a lot with the Muslim Student Association. I don't know if there are any Muslims here, but we're all obviously observing Ramadan right now. There have been a lot of events on campus hosted by different clubs to like provide that kind of like community if you are feeling a little bit homesick. But then even like hobbies, there's like debate club, model UN, like you will find like something for you. And if it's not here, you can always create your own club too. So yeah, there's been I've been really like involved. Oh, and the student newspaper. If you're a journalism student, write for the student newspaper. It's a really good experience for hands-on learning that's available outside of the classroom. So yeah.
I love that you mentioned that because a lot of the opportunities outside of the classroom can also really help enhance your degree. So maybe there's some club and activities out there that could be very relevant for you to get that hands-on experience. So clubs is such a great way to get involved and also a great way to meet people. Romina, I'm going to talk to you because I know you have a great video on clubs, but before you got to your upper years, like maybe in your first 2 years, did you find clubs were very beneficial to meet other students and kind of interact with them?
Oh, definitely. There's the Latin American Student Association that's called OLAS, and like I have a lot of friends that that are part of OLAS, and I would go to their events. I was also part of Kendo in my first year, the Kendo Club, and yeah, also the Carleton Film Club, like Film Society. That one was fun, especially me that I'm in film. So yeah, like you can go to a lot of events and then just meet people and be like create a network.
Yes. And like I love that you mentioned. So clubs are a great way to meet people. And like the clubs can be relevant to, let's say, for example, we have OLAS, but OLAS hosts a lot of events where students from different backgrounds actually go to. I remember attending a lot of the OLAS galas because they were a really fun event. And it's a great way to kind of also, I know they offer like salsa dancing classes for anyone who might be interested to learn how to do that. But clubs are a great way to connect with people from different groups. In addition to that, we have athletic facilities. So we have access, we have a state of the art gym on campus. We have an Olympic-sized pool on campus. All of that is included in your tuition. I'm curious if anyone here has access to the gym. I'm not going to point anybody out, but I'm just going to ask if you have access to the gym. Like, anyone care to share that experience? Maybe we'll hear from Parth or Dua or
I can go ahead.
Caroline.
So
Right?
basically, all students have access to gymnasium with their admission, so you don't have to worry about that. And since you already have it, go and make some use out of it. There's, I think, 7 squash courts in the gymnasium, which I've taken a liking to. There's a squash club as well, which provide the equipment. Um, Sometimes when you're an international student, you don't get the equipment from your home and things that you're not so interested in. So them providing equipment gives you a chance to go and get involved and find new interests.
Amazing. Yes. So it's not just been about just going to the gym, like you can actually play different activities. So I love that you mentioned the sports cards because that also brings you to another big thing is intramurals. So intramurals are like a very friendly game against other students. Anna, I know you're a big intramurals participant. You want to share a little bit about what intramurals is and how students can benefit from that?
Yeah, well, included with your gym membership and everything, you can join intramurals, which are basically just like teams of different sports. So, for example, I'm in soccer currently, and I think next term I want to join ultimate frisbee. There's a lot of different sports that you can try. It's not limited to those only, and you get to play at different levels. You can choose if you want just recreational, intermediate, or a little bit more professional, depending on your level. I know I'm a recreational person because my skills in soccer are not good, but it's a great way to get out there, be with your friends, do a sport that maybe you never thought you would do, get some exercise. And especially in the winter months, it's really nice because they're all indoors. So you don't get to experience the cold air outside and you can still have some fun.
I love that. Yes, and it's also a great way to meet people, connect with others, and allow them to keep active as well. So there are many ways that you can kind of build a life outside of the classroom. It's a great opportunity to get involved, maybe build your resume, maybe make some friends and things like that. But life outside of the classroom is so valuable. And we're going to highlight an office that international students will be very, very familiar with during the duration of their degree. It's called the International Student Services Office. So this is an office that's there primarily to support international students from the moment you get your offer to Carleton to even after you graduate. You'll be very familiar with this office. They provide transitional support. They also administer the health insurance program for international students. They have immigration advisors on staff. So if you're curious about maybe things related to your study permit, your work permit eventually after graduation, they are the best office to go to. They host a lot of workshops, they have office hours, and they also host a lot of events. They have the Global Cafe, they have a lot of events to bring international students together. They also help you navigate Ottawa when you first move to Canada. I'm sure a lot of you may be worried about where do I go for groceries? Where do I go for things like that? So, International Student Services Office is an office that will provide a lot of your support. Akriti, I know you volunteered for their office in the first 2 years. Do you want to share a little bit about how International Student Services Office, or ISSO, is very helpful to students?
So, for personally, from my experience, I found it like when I couldn't come to Canada physically, and I was like seeing when I was here physically what all they provide was really exciting because they like, especially in your first week, they also plan an orientation for international students specifically, where they even take you out, they take you to like Ottawa around, they have like little quizzes or like scavenger hunt activities and stuff like that, which I find really exciting. That way you get to explore the city, get to see places, get to try places. They give you a lot of like goodies and merch and like stuff like those while you're doing those activities to keep you like going. And the other thing I did find was also, like Leah mentioned, they have like a global cafe. So if you're looking to like meet people or just like, say hi to people or see what's going on, it's like a fun little thing. You can always go drop in for like 10 minutes, get a coffee or hot chocolate they have like giving to students and talk to new people who are from different parts of the world. And one other thing I did like was like they have like a lot of like events going on all throughout the year. They'll take you to the museum, to parks. Even in winter, they'll take you like snowshoeing or like to some maple. Recently, they had like a sugar shack visiting thing. So like they take you to all these exciting places that you would have never thought about, or you would have never known. And like they even teach you like how to travel because like they in the end use the transit system, so it's like it gets you familiarized in like a really nice way, and they provide like support that you need, people you can talk to.
Amazing. Yeah. So you can hear from Akriti. The ISSO will be such a valuable resource to all international students. Even if you're a student who probably has Canadian citizenship but hasn't lived in Canada, the ISSO will still be a great valuable resource for you to know and even get involved in because you'll get to support other international students who are making a similar transition. And before we run out of time, I just want to highlight student life because it's not just about your degree and your classes. It's not just about clubs and activities. We want to make sure you're having fun. We want to make sure you're experiencing Carleton in a fun way because the university is also all about having fun. And so I'm going to kind of point at all of our students and ask them what's like one fun thing that they've done just to kind of enjoy their student life experience. Romina, why don't we start with you?
Ooh, what have I done? Oh, I used to go, not this year. I haven't gone, but I used to go to Thirsty Thursdays, which was every single Thursday at Ollie's, which is like, so basically Ollie's is a restaurant on campus, and then on Thursdays they have this thing called Thirsty Thursdays, and then it would turn kind of into a club. So you would go there and dance and just like meet people and have fun.
Absolutely amazing. Yes, Thirsty Thursdays is a great Carleton tradition. Always is a student-owned business, so that's a great business to support. It's a great way to meet people. I don't know if you still have karaoke. There's also an opportunity to do karaoke. It's a fun place to kind of socialize with your friends when you're done with your busy classes. Parth, what's one fun thing you've done as a student?
Frosh, definitely. I enjoyed my first year Frosh so much that I ended up volunteering as a facilitator for it the next year, and I enjoyed that so much that I'm a facil again this year. So if you do end up joining Frosh, you'll almost definitely come see me.
Oh, amazing. Yes. And for those who are kind of curious, like what Frosh is, it's first year orientation. So when you're coming to Canada, Carleton has a week where they just offer a lot of fun activities for you to meet each other, for you to get that transitional support in a very fun environment. So fall orientation, as we call it, Frosh, is a really fun event. And you might see Perth there who help you with all of the transitional side of things with a fun event. So in addition to that, Dua, what's one fun thing you've done on campus? Or I mean, here in Ottawa, student life?
So something that has become a little bit of a tradition between me and my friends is we would go to hockey games, Ottawa Senator games. It's if you get the chance, student tickets are discounted. It's incredible. Such an incredible experience being in like the atmosphere. And it feels very like immersive of like Canadian culture. Like if you want to see Canadian culture at its peak, go to a hockey game. So that's kind of like one of the really fun things I've been able to do as a student.